Real talk, zero filter. Let's get this show on the road.
Porch Live. We are the Internet Whisperer and his assistant, coming to you live every Sunday night at 8 o'clock ish. We had a little tech, so we're running a little late, but I know you'll stick with us the entire
No, we're
show.
not late.
So,
We're not late. Oh,
well, no, not if we're on
good
Bally time.
good morning tonight.
Morning tonight, yes. Yes, we're running on Bally time, I guess.
Can I just fix that up? How do you call it? Bali? Barley.
Bally? Bally.
Barley. It's
I
like
say it like I'm from New Jersey,
sheep.
Bally.
Yeah, Bally.
I'm from the
Yeah,
Philadelphia area. Yeah, it's Bally. I'm from the Philadelphia area.
Bally. Sounds like
Yep, there you
sheep in a
go.
paddock.
Actually, it
Barley.
does, doesn't it? No, I
It's
don't have any of those, just cow.
so let's do posh.
Cows up the street.
It's barley, darling.
It's Bali.
Let's go to Bali for the summer. No, it's Bali
Okay.
for the
Oh, I
winter,
wish.
isn't it? I don't know. Which would you consider as the holiday months? The
Oh,
one where you want to escape to?
June, July, and August are our summers.
Okay. Do you want to escape the summer to go somewhere nice, or do you want to escape the winter to go somewhere nice?
They don't mind the cold. They don't mind the winter. I just don't like the hot. I don't like the humid, and I don't like the storms that we've had the past couple days. Another one due tonight.
Yeah. I get that. Are you a part of like Tornado Alley style
We
section of
are
the US?
actually right of the. We are like the top edge of Tornado Alley. So, what's fun? We had two the other night. Both were was it EF2s, level two. They weren't that bad, but they ripped the house up. So hey,
Well, you know, I'm glad I'm in Bali. I shouldn't do that.
you don't have that stuff.
There's no sheep here.
Yeah, but you get no sheep there,
There's no sheep
but
here.
you get
No sheep.
storms. I bet.
Yeah, but we get earthquakes more often than storms.
Oh, really? Oh, I did not
Yeah.
realize that.
Well, we're a
Very
volcanic
fun.
island. Bali is
Oh, true.
multiple volcanoes all linked together. The
Oh,
highest one being Mount Agung. Yeah. So,
earthquakes aren't fun. I
um,
was at a couple.
so you can imagine, uh, Bali's sort of like the plateau of three main volcanoes. So obviously there was sort of like a
So,
line of volcanoes, and then as the lava came out, it just spread wider and wider and wider, and that's Bali, and that's also what gives it its unique construction, geography,
well, okay.
because it's a high volcano and an island. As everything comes across, the weather comes across. I shouldn't say everything. As the weather comes
Mhm.
across, it drops the water, um, you know, as rain on the side of the mountain, and depending on where you are, where the rain falls, but it is significant amounts of rain, and it all just runs down the side of the mountain, and
My goodness.
the
Yeah.
majority of Bali
Well,
is
this.
actually a whole series of rivers. So you can't travel more than, I don't know, a couple of kilometers before you've got a decent sized river. Sometimes they're even closer, like, 300 or 400 meters apart. Right? So,
Anyway, we're
um,
old farting early. We have to go through. We have to go through the whole stuff in the beginning.
oh, sorry.
Where the Internet Whisperer and his assistant. Um, how we got here is a long, short story, but we've been working together for some time, and we decided we wanted to tell other people and teach other people the stuff that we've learned in the long years that we've been on this earth.
So
So, and
let's wave.
you could, oh, it's getting dark here, it's getting light there. So, You can
Uh,
always join us. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on our website,
the links are
Two
in the
Old Farts
description.
Live, and the links are in the description, so you can hop on there and check us out. Now you can start old farting.
What is that, like being disorganized?
Yeah, that's usually us. We just fly off the seat of our pants. So, what are you thinking of talking about for residual income and side hustles this week?
Actually, a couple of interesting things for residual income. Um, the big thing this week is that we've been delving deeper into how the internet is moving in different ways, and right at the moment there is a very strong, how would you call it? I guess movement, or comfort zone for people in communities, and rather than being isolated, people are uh, connecting, learning, and sharing in like-minded communities, whether it's hobbies or sport or the particular topic that you want to be studying. So the big names in communities, as far as platforms go, we've been experimenting with school, but there is a whole series of newer platforms, and I think the bigger picture is that school will take a larger section of the marketplace because of its simplicity, and then
Yeah,
some of the other platforms are going to. Uh,
I see a lot more ads and stuff for school than I used to. I know it's been around for a while, but more and more has been showing up lately, and not
yeah.
just on my social media, because we know how that works, but actually on television.
Oh, you've been seeing it on the TV.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes. I
Is
mean,
that like?
granted, I use a streaming. I use Roku, which is just all my streaming services connected. But they do have ads, and it has shown up. So
Ah, okay. So that's making sense with regards to some of the advertising that they're doing at the present moment. I know they've got a big push to do that.
yeah,
Uh, However, um, people get to know about it. The key is that school is a comfortable place to share what you love, learn what you want to know, educate yourself, connect with like-minded people in a
yeah.
very, very comfortable environment. Anyway, so that's the big tech stuff that I've been delving into deeper this week. Typical stuff that I get into as well, which is Mac and PC stuff. But also one of the things that's come up several times this week. Uh, the the basics of the internet is we've had a couple of circles in the internet. It was hard, and it was very geeky, and then it was easy but really basic, and then to make it more professional, it got very geeky again, and now it's come
Oh
back
yeah,
to um,
easy.
essentially easy, much easier, but easier and professional,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
then
Oh yes. Oh
um,
yeah.
in all of this, it's all about commercializing, so it's monetizing. That's the main emphasis for business and most people, and it's done a big full circle, and now the internet has come back to basics in a couple of
Really
different
has.
areas, and
Yeah.
the the big thing that's come up for me during this last couple of weeks is that the website is the center of everything you do. If you're doing social media, even if you need a website, you need somewhere that is your space controlled by you, where your customers, you're generating, you've got your customers, your control, and it doesn't have to be fancy, but it definitely has to
Oh,
be your little place. It's like having your shop. Your shop can sell to anywhere in the
mhm.
country, but the shop is in one location, and I guess that's like the central point, and everything else works around that.
The-
In fact,
What they used to call a general store, where people used to come in and they would pick up their mail and buy some eggs and et cetera, et cetera.
yep, and I've wrote a couple of posts about it this week. Um,
Hmm?
so that's been interesting. Uh, actually, I might, what, whilst um, whilst I'm chatting here, I'm also setting up so that I can uh, show
It's
you the
okay.
screen because I'm not ready for the screen, but we'll get there. And oh, hang on, I'll just push that across. Okay, so that will be, there we go. Got the screen.
We do.
And let me go and find that post that I wrote today. Uh,
Nice.
this one here, how online marketing works. So if you're looking at the screen, um, even though we focus on all of these things on the left, the Facebook right through to the other socials, whether it be Pinterest, ChatGPT, YouTube, Instagram, any of those things which um, work here, all head to your website. If you consider it like that's your home base, that's your little central point. And
Hmm?
the idea is that you get them to the website, and that's where the majority of the sales happen. So, it's where you build a list and start,
A lot of
communicate.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people that aren't familiar with any kind of building websites are a little bit scared of it because it just seems so overwhelming, all the pieces that have to be put together.
Yeah. Uh, uh, Once again, we spoke before about the evolution of the internet. It's got to the point where it's remarkably simple to be able to put something basic up. There's a the pieces are that you have to have a domain, which is your sort of your little piece of internet real estate. Um,
Mhm.
uh, However, once you have that basic piece of real estate, all of the other things happen around that. I know that there's a push at the moment. You've probably seen it where make a
Yeah.
website in with AI in 5 minutes,
Yes, I've seen that all over the place.
and that's not untrue, but there's a difference between making an effective professional website and making something in 5 minutes. You can put a
Oh
tent up
yeah.
in 5 minutes, okay, but to build a house, right, or build a shop or something like that, um, it's the
Other
same
one.
basic tool set. You need a piece of ground, and you need
Hmm.
you know, some tools and some
Stuff
effort.
that goes up.
But the end result, you've got a tent. That's your
Hmm.
5 minute AI one versus something that is of
Yeah.
little bit more significance. And the relevance to the retail marketplace is that you've got your own shop versus going to a mall, which is, an Amazon or a Facebook or somebody else's platform that you're sort of a part of, which you don't control. And the end result is that if you've got yours and you spend a little bit of time building it, then you end up with a group of people, a list that you can impact with whatever it is that you do, your particular angle, whether it's hobby, um, business, service, um,
Mhm.
whether it's promoting an online business or an offline one. So how did you find it when we put your website together recently? How was it? How was your first experience?
In the beginning, it wasn't too, I mean, it was too bad through the whole thing, honestly and truly. Um, I did learn a lot of new stuff. I did a little bit of that before. But it wasn't too bad because you actually, at being the internet whisperer, walked me through every single thing you were doing and showing it to me, and it made it a lot easier um, to even figure out some of the parts where you just said, this, and this, you do this, this, and that, so you go ahead and do that page. So
So
it was a lot easier than I thought it would be too.
had it changed since the last time you experienced the web?
A lot,
Okay.
a whole lot. It used to be a lot more technical, I think. There's a lot more. I guess I don't know if they're built-in tools or part of the plugins that you put in there that made it
Yep.
easier, but it's a lot easier than it used to be.
I'll give it to you that's where we are at the present moment. It's got to the point where even though it's highly professional, just looking at some of the things that you've got and you're doing on your site with some of the animations and the images, um, uh, it's uh, professional without being overly complex. You've
Well,
made all of the pictures yourself on the site.
I had a little AI help. I got news for you. Before we started doing all this, I was terrified. I would never use AI. That was forget it. And now it's like, oh, I'll just throw that into ChatGPT or whatever, and it'll make me a picture because I'm not capable of all that artwork.
Hmm. So, for instance,
So
this
I
book
gave it
cover.
the ideas and stuff. Yep,
Yeah. So,
that is
um, th-
ChatGPT.
okay. So things like book covers, etc. Now, instead of having to send it out to some sort of professional
Oh
graphic
yeah.
designer, is you're looking after it in house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do
And
you?
some of those designers are
What do you?
expensive. I mean, not saying they don't do their job, but they're expensive.
Yeah. What are your favorite tools that you've experienced so far?
So definitely the ChatGPT. Um,
Hmm.
that's definitely a favorite tool because it's just so easy to design something. You tell it what you want to design, and it does it.
Yep.
Um, so that definitely has to be the top of my list, at least at the moment. Canva is something else that we go on and use all the time. It's kind of like Photoshop, but it's a lot easier than Photoshop ever was. And it's on a website, and you go in there and you go in there and you design different stuff, and you can change graphics around. Um, you can do it for free. I mean, it doesn't have to cost you anything. I've used it for free for years, and they keep developing it more.
Yep.
But they help you do all this stuff.
Well,
And they have a lot more now. They have a little more advanced stuff in there.
well, funny that you say because we've used those two tools, ChatGPT and Canva, to create many of our images for this particular podcast. So here we are in Canva, utilizing some of the tools. In this instance, what we did, we needed a round-ish logo. Now, all pictures are square,
Mhm.
but the background is transparent so that it appears round.
Right.
And we created that in Canva. We took out the background and then, can save it. So that was one of the things that tools that we used. Um, if I remember correctly, ChatGPT was used originally to create the image. Um,
Yes.
I do love his cap. I'm gonna reproduce
Mm.
all of this soon, and we're gonna have merch. That'll be a bit of fun. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, so um, Canva is one. ChatGPT is another. Um, and of course, we're building your website at the present moment using WordPress. Uh,
Mhm.
a-
Yes.
and oh, we were talking before about school, and for those people who haven't seen school before, just thought I might throw up
Cool
a
that.
quick look at school.
Once again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. There's a lot of stuff on there that's free for people that don't have the resources to, pay for. It's relatively inexpensive to use.
100%. So there is essentially two levels of communities. Um, uh, well, yeah, two levels of community. Those where the entry point, the zero cost. So there's no cost involved in becoming a part of it. And then some other communities have a value attached to it, which means that you may have a free section and then a paid section so that somebody's skill or knowledge can be transferred to you. Um, the majority of the communities that are essentially hobby based or interest based are free, and some of the more technical stuff or some of the stuff that you want to learn, significant number of communities based around AI or technical styles subjects. And instead of being in traditional courses and high value, etc., they are significantly lower in cost, easier entry points, but they're still payment based courses. So
I've noticed a lot of them aren't very expensive. Like they'll have ones that are like $5 a month.
yes, yep. So
You
it
you
could be a month.
honestly can be in for really cheap.
Yes, agreed. $5 a month is one, so it's a regular payment. And that, of course, keeps community rolling. However, there's also the other aspect. It's like you want to learn a particular subject. You don't need all of it. So the end result is that you might have a particular segment of that community which is teaching a subject. And that subject might be, a $5, let's call it course or, education that you can do. So lots of it's free, and it's just the shared knowledge, common interest, and then you can work your way up into paid stuff. So that's the community stuff. It's it's sort of like, for me, it's the evolution of social media into something of substance rather than death scrolling in the traditional social media that we've become used to, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. It has.
To look at it like real school because you have subjects you can learn, but you can also be social with people at the same time, which is what you did at school.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much. Um, you've got hit it on the nose there. Social media, it is not the be all and end all that it was. I guess it's sort of been waning for a couple of years. Um, it's still incredibly popular. Don't get me wrong about that. It's just that people are looking for
Extremely
something.
powerful.
Yeah, and uh, I think that the figures would suggest that there's a movement um, to other forms of social interaction. Um, YouTube has taken a huge leap forward in the majority of
Yes.
Western society. Um, Obviously, there are different elements are stronger and weaker in different parts of the world, but in our space, YouTube and traditional media is seriously declining. So we're getting a lot of what we consume via the alternates, the YouTubes. Um,
Mm.
I wish it wasn't so, but there's an awful lot of TikTok usage there. Uh,
Yes, lots. I find myself going away from like Facebook, for example, and sometimes hanging out like on in Instagram or Pinterest, and looking through the different subjects.
mhm.
They
uh,
also have a new one that came up, not Threads, but there was a new one that came up. I don't have my phone right in front of me, so they have a new one that came up. It's still attached to Facebook, so but
a
see
new
what's it called?
one. Are you not talking about Threads?
Yeah.
You're talking about.
No, it actually in the past uh I want to say week or so,
Mhm.
maybe 2 weeks. And I can't remember the name of it. Can't get to my phone right now because I'm filming
You
with
that happens as an old fart. Memory goes. So we're going to write a note down about that one. I'll send you home and to do
it.
some
Yes,
homework, and
I
we can
will.
come back and
Yes,
find that for next
report
week.
on it.
Yeah,
Yes, put
that.
that in the notes. Remind me. I will do a report on that one. That's it's just showed up. Um, and I know it's attached to Facebook because everything in there is like groups and pages that I'm part of in Facebook, but they're presented in a different way. I don't even know what they're doing with it, but I'll look into it and get back to you. Yes.
Well, I haven't seen it, so it may be that you're, part of a small group that are, they're experimenting with you.
I don't know. It's a separate app, and when you open it up, it's actually multiple groups and pages in there that
Okay,
I know that I'm part of on Facebook. So I will look into it for you. I promise.
I look forward to the homework.
Hmm?
Uh, well, I
So
was
are we
heading.
ready
I
for
was
our
heading.
scam of the week?
Oh, what have you got for us this week?
Oh, well, as you know, a lot of the scammers do try to go after older people. They think that they're not as smart, and for some strange reason, they think they're incredibly rich. Um, this has been going on for years. I remember when I first started doing social media, and even before that, like remember Yahoo Messenger, they would show up on there. And what they used to be called is uh, Nigerian romance scammers. Now they're just romance scammers because they're from all over the world. They used to be in little internet cafes, and now I do believe they have like companies built that all these people do is that for a living. And they will take somebody that looks older and maybe they need to make sure they're either unmarried or a widow or widower. And they come at them and they start talking to you. And then five
Yeah,
minutes after they start talking to you, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. I want to be with you. You want to be with me. So send me $5,000 and I'll fly to you. And we all know that's never going to happen. But a lot of people have been fooled by it.
yeah.
A
Look,
lot
and
of
they
people
have.
have lost a lot of money.
Look, the very first um, book that I was involved with and published, a small publishing firm at one time, was
Mhm.
actually a Dutch woman living in Australia who got scammed with
Okay.
an international ring, and it was in
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the I guess in some cases the early days of the internet, the early 2000s, right?
Mhm.
However, um, the ring was very sophisticated. So they had lead generators, and these individuals
Wow.
tended to be um, Western. The incident that I became aware of all of this, it was a Scottish gentleman who met this lady. She was living in Central Australia, in Alice
Mhm.
Springs. Everybody probably knows Ayers Rock, or the big rock in the centre of Australia. She lived, not close,
Yeah,
not
big rock.
not far from there, and
Hmm.
she met him online, but supposedly he was really close in this small, country town, and she actually met him.
Hmm.
It
Wow.
went. went from one step to another. He presented himself as being a, an affluent worker, who was
Mhm.
mining, fly in, fly out, all over the, oil rigs, etc. But she physically met him, and
Wow. Never
she,
happens.
well, less the case now because that particular model isn't as profitable as some of the ones that we're doing. But that was that
No,
was the
no.
that was the first version. Turned out he was
Hmm.
part of a ring, and he was three men. He was the front man, and there were two other Nigerian men in the background. It was at the time when Nigeria was heavily part of this. There was two Nigerian men that continued the
Hmm.
conversations online. The typical stories of
Oh,
my
oh
phone's not
yeah.
here, or all the pieces were
Hmm.
there, but there were two different additional men that um, that followed up, and they were both non-white, non-primary English speaking. So it was text,
Yeah.
basically text, and
Oh
he
yes.
would he would appear every now and then to be the physical face, and he met her
Hmm.
in Tokyo, in London, and in Amsterdam. Uh,
Wow.
so from Australia to Japan to London, etc. He was very mobile, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and eventually turned out to be just a typical romance scam. His affluence in ability to be able to bounce around the world gave him credibility. Ultimately, it came down to, I've lost all my money. I've been
Yep.
arrested here. It's going to cost me X amount to be able um, to extricate myself. He was oil and gas, so he was ended up being in supposedly in Nigeria, because there are significant
Oh.
gas platforms or oil platforms off Nigeria.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so the end result was it was just an ask for money, and the scam came apart with one bad email. I was a I was a
Oh.
part of the oh my God, I was happy for her that she'd found somebody that was amazing, and we were talking about it constantly. And then she said, "I've just got this email," and and we looked at it, and it was clear that it was not written by an a barrister, and it was clear that it was not written by English as a first language. And it was like all of this effort and all of this time came down to an email which was not credible, not credible in the language, not credible in the process, etc. And
Oh.
if it had been credible, I would suggest that there probably would have been a much stronger chance of, I think it was something like 35 to 40,000 Australian dollars at the time, to be able to get him out of the predicament that he was in. We can talk about the predicament later. Um, but
Yeah.
this one email basically went, oh, hang on a minute, this doesn't sound right, right? And she'd already sent some money, um, and this was just sort of like the next escalation. Anyway, so
Wow.
that was my first um, touch into that space because I was so close. Now she was a writer, and we ghost writ. Is that a word? We wrote a book together. um, she was the official author, and I was the background and publisher, etc. But we wrote a book about this, um, because we did the sleuthing. We found out the whole process. We even spoke to one of the other two men in the situation, who didn't like what he was doing and sort of gave us some inside information. as it turns out, she sold
Cool.
this to a publisher in the Netherlands, the Dutch version. Even though I think it was about $2,500 that she'd given him or given them, for the scam, and she made somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000 on the book, which meant that
Cool.
the whole escapade turned out to be a profitable venture, but it could have been a lot worse. And the
Oh
whole
yeah,
idea
it could have been.
was
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I've heard of people losing a whole lot of money. Now, there's a lot of things, even nowadays, to look for when you're contacted that is an indication that they're just not a real person. The first thing to look at is their name. Is their name backwards? And then I notice this, they'll have something like Smith Johns
Mm-hmm.
or
Or
two first
two
name like
two
John
first
John.
names is a classic. Yep, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that one. Um, y-
Also, their pictures, their photographs are obviously taken from somewhere that somebody had some professional shots done and put online. They will take that, and you can tell that they're professional shots. They only have one, maybe two pictures tops
and of course, now
on
with
their
the advent
profile.
of AI, all of the different um, aspects that come into it. Once upon a time, you could people were borrowing photos from from photo sites, and you could almost double
Mhm.
check and see whether they were a real photo or not. Now, the advent of create an image means that you can't even do that as a simple check. My number one
That's
is
true.
a video call, even though that can be faked, right? Um,
Oh, yeah.
Voice calls, video calls, uh,
Mhm.
and
And they'll insist on it like right away.
they do, yep. And that gives them
Like
credibility.
real fast.
Yep. And
Hmm.
also,
They
connects
think it
everybody
they
together.
think it does.
Um,
Also, if they're just doing some texting, pay attention to how they're writing things. Their sentence structure and the words are going to be really messed up.
yeah, it's obvious that we have English as a first language, and um, the majority of those on the other side, it's not their first language, and the little grammatical things make a difference,
Mhm.
and certainly
I had
noticeable.
a couple of them try to get a hold of me today, and somebody was using a word. It's not a word, and I kept trying to tell them that. Oh yes, it's a word. And it's like not in my language. I mean, they'll double down. They will
Mm,
double down.
mm. Look,
So yeah, you just got to keep an eye on that. The basic comes down to just be careful who you trust. Unless you know them, be real careful. I had one many years ago that I had a lot of fun with because I was just messing around with them. I knew they were fake. They said they were a general in the army. Now, I've had military in my family. I used to be a military wife. There's no way. They said they were over in Iraq. This tells you how long ago it was. They said they were over in Iraq. They were on in their base camp, and they said that they didn't have any food or medicine for their troops, and they needed me to send them money.
it's such a classic
Although it
story.
does happen. Oh yeah, they didn't happen. Now it has actually happened today for real, but back then that didn't. That just never happened. So what I did is I told them, I said, look, I said, and they didn't have food or money, but they had a Western Union right in the middle of camp. He
Of
told
course
me
they
this.
could.
I said,
Yeah,
okay. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we
I
can
said, do this.
Western Union right
Go
there.
to the Western Union. Oh yeah. I said, go to the Western Union. Stand right there. I'm going to send you $10,000. You stand there and you wait for it. It might take me a while, but you stand there as long as it takes, and I'll send it to you. And then I blocked him.
Super.
I was
Nice
laughing
angle.
the whole time.
So here's the other
Yes.
angle that I do. When I have time, I'll engage the conversations, because whilst ever you're talking to them, somebody else who may be less likely, um, or less likely to know, is being avoided, or avoided being
Mhm.
scammed.
Yeah.
I actually follow a couple of different YouTube channels that do this and exposing, the call centers that do it, the the different processes that they've got a whole series of names for the processes that they use, overpayments and
Mhm.
pig baiting or something. Anyway, there's a whole series of
I've never heard of
um,
that one. I have to look that up.
um, I'm gonna do the types of scams, right? And let's see what Google comes up with.
Oh, we're going to go through like one every week anyway, so
Yeah.
don't go too deep.
Uh, yeah. Like I was hoping that somebody would come up with something really simple with the names. Actually, names of scams. Let's do that. All right. Names of scams: phishing, smishing. Wow.
Okay.
Pig butchering is the name of it. Right.
Oh, okay.
Um,
You're close.
Pig butchering. So, phishing, fake emails disguised as trusted companies, still login details. Smishing, fraudulent text messages containing malicious or fake tracking notices. Vishing, voice phishing phone calls impersonating bank staff or government officials. Spoofing, faking a phone number or email header to look like a legitimate contact. Or
Yeah.
farming, redirecting users to fake website even when the correct
Hmm.
even when typing the correct website. But yeah, it then talked about investment and financial fraud, pig butchering, which is building trust online over weeks before pushing some sort of fake investment or payment. Ponzi
Hmm.
schemes, pyramid schemes, pump and dump, advanced free fee fraud is a typical one. You've been given 100,000, but it's going to take you 5,000 to release it, right? It's like, yeah, well, why not, get 5,000 to make 100? It's easy. Yeah, except that 5,000 gone, never see the 100. Um, Overpayment. That's the one that I've seen a lot of. Oh, you've overpaid for, an invoice and we need to get it back. And so they end up, you know, convincing the individual that they've
Apparently,
overpaid.
they hit like areas. I saw on our local Facebook page that somebody was talking about how they got a phone call from somebody about the overpayment thing,
Yep.
and a whole bunch more people went, "Yeah, I had that same phone call today."
Yep. They'll just,
So
they'll do
I
an
guess
area
they're
code. They'll do
yeah,
area code, automatic, phone calling.
they don't want to go door to door around here. You got a bunch of farmers that have a bunch of shotguns.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna help. Anyway,
But
so next week we'll do another scam to make you aware of. If you have any that you've come across that we've had not mentioned, please send us a comment on YouTube or on our Facebook page, and we'll look into it for you.
that'll be one of those fun things. Also, I'm going to go and chase some of those YouTube channels that are,
Mm.
some of them are incredibly entertaining. They're
Oh yes,
basically baiting the scammers to waste their time. And
I
uh,
I saw a comedian on YouTube that did that. That was Joe Lysick, his name was,
mm,
and apparently a friend of his. Somebody was trying to scam a friend of his, and they gave the name and the phone number and the email address over to him and told him, do your worst. Look the guy up. He's hysterical, but he apparently really did this because it was funny.
I can imagine some of the fun that we would have with scammers, but um, uh, l-
Lord,
let's
who
add
has
that
that
to
time?
the homework ready for next time.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
Now we're going to do some regular stuff. I noticed that We haven't really had a rant this week. Is there anything that's,
Oh, yeah.
we would say pissed you off? You really pissed me off. Is there anything that's pissed you off this week?
The baloney going on with the World Cup and them not letting certain people into the country or making
Eesh.
them go to like Mexico or Canada because they can't go into the US. That really pissed me off because really you invite people from all over the world to the country for a sports thing and then don't let them in.
Yeah, let them buy the tickets. Let
Oh,
them go through the whole process and then stop them at the gate. Yeah,
it's visas and everything. And you know that doesn't take overnight.
yeah. Well, I think the ones that annoy
So
me most are the ones where they've been given a visa, everybody's, booked everything, accommodation, etc., and then right at the last minute, either the visa's been cancelled, um, and
mm,
they haven't been able to get in. Luckily, they haven't flown. Or the worst of that one is they get to the gate and basically
turn them
refused
away.
entry. Yep. And
Yeah.
I've experienced that once in my travels, and it's not a fun thing because nobody treats you nicely. And
Oh, they're acting
I
like you're a criminal.
exactly, there's none of this, innocent to proven guilty. It's just like, you're a bad person. Um, I
Especially if you're trying to enter the U.S. That one referee, though, I'll have to say that the FIFA did, even though he wasn't allowed to come to the United States, he was not allowed to do his job. They're going to pay him anyway, so good for them.
yeah,
It
FIFA
wasn't his
picks it
fault.
up because
It
it
was
wasn't.
not his
Yeah,
fault.
yep. And
Good for them.
sometimes you wonder about the information that is being provided that stops this. Um, I've experienced a couple of,
Hmm.
highly negative entries coming into the US, and
Yeah.
the classic one that I had was the the guys doing the immigration check as you come in off the plane. I was coming in from Mexico, and I think um, that it was part of an internal thing that they were doing. But the gates
Right.
for American passport holders, there was like 8, and there was only one assigned to non-American. Of course, coming in from Mexico,
Mhm.
this particular flight was 85% non-US citizens. It means that there was this massive
Yeah.
queue, and I think that this guy had pissed off his managers, so he got stuck with looking after this queue, right? And he couldn't speak Spanish,
Mhm.
and so many
Oh
of
my
them
Lord.
so many of them were coming through and didn't have enough English to understand what it was. I remember at one stage, he yelled that he was having difficulty with this woman, and he yelled down the queue, "Is there anybody that speaks English that can help this woman?" And he was waving people forward so that he could get this woman processed to move it on. And in the end, a couple of people from behind me moves forward to do the translating so that she could move forward. And he was really obnoxious, aggressive,
Which
only
leads me
speak
to
English.
believe, which lead me to believe that she did speak English. I
She,
noticed something very interesting when I lived. Yeah, I learned something very interesting when I lived in California. Um, that if you are obnoxious and a jerk to these people, they won't speak English. But if you speak to them respectfully, almost all of them do. It's
yeah,
like they treat and you treat them. It's like, look, if you're going to talk to me like a jerk, then I'm just going to say I don't understand. I came across it many times. It
yeah,
never happened to me because I was always nice to them. I would always speak to them respect that they deserve. Um, and that almost to a person they spoke English.
mm,
You know, maybe one or two didn't, but yeah, mostly they spoke English. They didn't speak English to people that were a-holes.
Yeah, and I agree
Austin,
agree with you. Yeah, yeah.
and honestly,
I've
Julie
seen both.
or me, I do the same thing.
Yeah, I've seen both. But that was the experience that I had. Um,
Yeah, not fun.
on a couple of occasions, and that was a mild occasion, but the entry point in the US is less than friendly. It's almost like part of their job is to be tough. It's like I've got to be tough. Rarely would you get somebody who was, happy and okay in their position. It was normally a
Yeah.
coldish demeanor on entry. It was like, hurry up and let me get through this, right? So,
hmm
and
Well,
of
now
course,
you can't. Well, they're changing the rules now. You can't fly into Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, or Atlanta from another country anymore.
what?
I think Chicago too. They've closed all the major international hubs to international flights coming in.
What's the purpose of that?
I don't know. This is from the federal government, if you get my drift.
Okay, so you live in Chicago, all right, and you have to go to London for
Mhm.
business. So you can't fly London to Chicago direct.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got to go
You
to
have to
one.
fly to another destination and then take another plane to Chicago. Yep.
Hmm.
It's called that they say that it's another one of their ways of keeping the illegals from coming into the country.
Yeah, that
I
that
don't
whole
understand.
yeah, that's interesting. I
I don't
hadn't heard
understand.
that. Hadn't heard that.
That's a reason too.
Hmm.
So
That one. I'm gonna look deeper into that one. That's just
I don't know if they passed it yet,
massive
but they've been
inconvenience.
proposed. I don't know if they passed it or not.
Oh, okay.
It
So
just seems
it's
weird that
not
they're
it's not in
saying this
action.
around. I don't think so yet. I think I don't remember if it was an executive order or a bill that's supposed to be passed into law, but it just seems funny that it's being proposed around the time of World Cup.
Okay.
hmm
Okay. So it's stopping international flights into um uh
Major hubs.
US major hubs.
hmm
Okay. Uh, I just like it. It just doesn't make sense.
That's experience almost an entire year. That doesn't make sense. So
Hmm. Um. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's I just a quick Google search. Okay, the proposal floated by the Department of Homeland Security threatens to withdraw U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers from airports in sanctuary cities. Without customs processing, these major hubs would lose their ability to receive or process overseas international flights. Without customs processing, so the impacted airports. The policy specifically targets international gateways in Democrat led states. The airports under evaluation include New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, Boston, and Denver, Philadelphia, Newark, and Seattle. The cause Homeland Security Secretary introduced the plan in response to protests against immigration enforcement outside an ICE detention center in New Jersey. Yes, so mid
hmm
20 mid 2026 they're actively drafting plans but no final decision has been implemented. Yeah, everybody's
yeah.
every man and their dog except the DHS has condemned the proposal. Wow.
Oh yeah, but I don't know what's gonna. I still don't know what's gonna happen. There's a lot of stuff that's passed that I didn't think would, so we'll see.
Yeah, the whole executive
Honestly,
order
Julie,
bypassed the normal process, and because of emergency, let's have a
and the problem is that the executive orders aren't laws. They never will be. He doesn't get that. He thinks he's king. Anyway, I'm not going to get down that road, or we'll be here all night. So,
yeah,
did you still want to hear my story about the pork loins that we bought?
absolutely pork loins.
Since we're coming to the
Give me
end.
give everybody a
So,
bit of background to the pork loins.
I am. So my partner was at work one day, and a friend of his came in and said that he got a bunch of lamb, Australian lamb, at Costco for real cheap, like per pound, like really good deal, like $3 a pound or something really good. So
Okay,
he's like, all right, he's on his way home. He stopped at Costco, no lamb left, not a single, not even a crumb. But right next to the case where the lamb was, they had these 8, 9 pound pork loins on sale for $1.99 a pound,
okay,
which
so
is
unusual
really,
and cheap,
yeah. So he bought three,
right?
which is still, even though it's like $30 worth of meat, that's a lot of meat for $30, especially in today's economy. So he brought them home. Um, we're two of them are in the freezer at whole. We had one chopped up already. I got, you just I cut them up in portions and I seal them in my food saver and then put them back in the freezer by per meal. So we got out of just that one, we got a 2 pound pork roast, 8 meals of one pork chop each, and three little ones that we beat out and made these there's like little fried they're called tenderloins. There's like this piece of
Mm-hmm.
fried pork
Yep.
that you can make sandwiches out of, and we got 8 out of that because we got a what's he see? So 2 or 3 meals out of the pork roast, plus 8, plus maybe 8 more. So yeah, a couple weeks worth of meals off one alone. So they're going to last us for a good long time. And I know him. Next time we go to Costco, if they still have them for that price, we'll probably have more. So
So
we put them
uh,
aside.
you missed out on the lamb, but you gained the pork.
Uh,
Another
Oh yes,
another another bargain. Okay, so that was
an
pork
incredible
loins.
bargain.
Now, what about
Yes.
the biscuits? Or are we talking about those Anzac cookies?
Oh yes, my Anzac cookies. They came out okay. I tried to make the Australian Anzac cookies that you told me about. They
Hmm.
came out okay, but since I made them gluten free instead of regular flour, because I can't have regular flour, I'm allergic. Um, they came out rather dry. And that's mostly because gluten-free flour is made out of a lot of rice, and rice will absorb the liquid. So I'm going to try them again. The flavor was great. Don't get me wrong. I made my own golden syrup. Can't buy that. Um, and uh, and the flavor was delicious, but they were incredibly dry. So I'm going to try them with a little bit more liquid to compensate next time. I'm going to try them again. Um,
Because,
I went on a
technically, Anzac cookies are soft-ish. They're not, not crisp. Um, and of course, best first out of the oven. You know, the cookies cooling on the shelf, and you nick one before they become, before they get to the biscuit tin.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, cookie
which you
jar.
also can't do with the cookie dough biscuit tin, same thing. You also can't do with gluten-free cookies because when they first come out of the oven, if you grab one, they will fall apart. I mean, completely. Um, because as you know, gluten is Latin for glue, and there's nothing sealing them together. So you actually
Uh-huh.
have to let them cool and let them kind of all the stuff like a little harden a little bit, so they will stick together better. So
So
yeah,
there's no
can't do
no
that.
stealing
It's like
hot cookies.
nope, you end up with a handful of hot crumbs. It's like my bread when I make bread, and when you take it out of the bread maker, you actually have to let it sit. You can't cut that fresh piece of bread with nice and hot. You can melt butter on it, blah blah blah. If you cut it while it's still hot and you do not let it completely cool, it will collapse.
Okay.
There's weird rules about gluten-free cooking and baking.
So
Weird
uh,
rules.
that was pork loins and and say cookies. Although,
So opposite
you
ends
know,
of the
in my
spectrum.
mind, they're biscuits. If
Okay.
you say it here
Some
in
biscuits.
Bali, it's biscuit. And they
Oh,
even
okay.
spell it,
Oh, really?
yeah, biscuit. That's what they say. There's very
Mhm.
similar words in Indonesian for many English words because
Yeah.
of the Dutch heritage, and so there's this commonality. And some things are simplified but sound the same. But yeah, biscuits here,
Gotcha.
biscuits for me, and
Hmm.
cookies for you.
And there's a product in the United States called Bisquick. We get all kinds of mess up.
Biscuit, quick. Mm. Do you
Mhm. It's
do
a
you have
baking mix.
Nestle Quick?
Yes. Yeah. Nestle Quick.
Yep, I remember that as a kid. Would die for that in
I don't know.
a glass of milk.
Oh yeah. I was
All right.
always big on milk as a kid, with or without the chocolate. So
Yep. Um, okay. So on that note, I think we call it time. We've a little bit over our hour. We've had a nice little two old fart chat today. Um,
it is.
and same time next week, next Sunday, where we can talk some more two old fart. Um, mm, because they talking shit with old farts. Yeah, too bad. YouTube's gonna hate us.
They'll just have to get over it. And once again, just make sure if you like us on Facebook and you check out our website and you come here and you sign up to be notified uh, whatever we're doing and tell your friends, bring them along.
Yep, yep. Questions and comments are greatly appreciated. We'll answer everything, and if we don't see you beforehand, we'll talk to you next week, same time, same channel. Oh, actually, that mine took me off into another diversion. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you dare start talking about Batman.
Anyway, too late. I did. So anyway, I'll see
You
you in the
did.
morning. I'll see you in the morning tonight,
Like
and ready for next time.
in the morning tonight, definitely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Real talk, zero filter. Let's